Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about my tattoo removal procedure. I had my first session yesterday. By the time this video posts, it's already going to be probably my next session. But today is Sunday. I had my session Saturday, I think it was the 29th, the 28th or 29th. No, it was the 29th of June. So, I did make a video on tattoos and your immune system. You might want to check that one out to see, some of the reasoning why I'm going through this now. My tattoo is not large, so I don't think that it's really causing any major issues, but it's still there. And knowing what I know now about tattoos, I was like, you know what, I might as well just go for it, see if I tolerate it, and if I do, just try to get this thing taken off. So I'm going to a place called Removery, which is a chain. It's a very well-known chain here in the United States. And they're basically like, I guess, the most trusted tattoo removal place. The place that I'm going to that's here by me is very highly rated. So depending on the location, the ratings may vary, but the one closest to me has very, very high ratings on Google reviews, about 5 stars or close to 5 stars out of 5. So I was not, because of my health issues, I did let them know I have health issues and that's one of my concerns. I was not allowed to even schedule until I had a doctor's note. So I needed doctor's clearance. So I did email my doctor. I was kind of worried that she may not, you know, give me the doctor's note through email, just through, email communication. I was really worried that I was going to have to see her in person because it takes months to get in to see her. But fortunately, I did not. She did give me the doctor's note. It took me, I think, maybe a couple of weeks to get it. And, then I called, I told them about the note, and then we scheduled. And the scheduling was pretty quick. So they seem to have availability, but you do need to schedule. They do not take walk-ins. So basically, if you're on blood thinners or immunosuppressing medication, those are two probably contraindications. Or if you have an immune deficiency, because that puts you at an increased risk of infection. And so that's something that they don't want to risk. But again, it's up to your doctor's discretion. But those are the two big ones: blood thinners, immunosuppressing medications, or any type of immune deficiency. If your immunity's bad, that's kind of a no-go for this type of procedure. So once I scheduled, so once I got there for my appointment yesterday, I had the note with me and they actually send it out. I think they have, like, I guess, a department that handles like all the medical stuff. So that made me feel really good. Like the whole, having to get the doctor's note, they wouldn't schedule me unless I got the doctor's note. So I knew that they weren't just trying to get my money. The fact that they actually have a medical department and they had to forward they had to kind of, scan the letter and send it off to their medical person. And they told me it should take, about 10 to 15 minutes for her to get back to us and give us, the final okay. And then in the meantime, I had some more paperwork to finish. And then of course payment and all of that. So they email the letter to this person. They do make you sign a non-arbitration, you're not going to take them to court if anything goes wrong. You also have to sign a form that states that they will not give you a refund. So, if you just decide like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, or, I don't know, you do have to sign something. Now, I'm going to mention this, but I don't want anybody to rely on this. And I myself am just like, you know what, I shouldn't really, believe 100% because I did sign off and say, yeah, I understand that I'm not getting a refund of my money. But one of the girl that works there, not the nurse, but the, I guess the administrative person there, She told me, she said, if you have a medical condition, you don't tolerate the procedure, or you start feeling really sick or something because of the procedure, she said, we'll give you your money back. She said, we've done it before. People with medical conditions are pretty much the exception. She says, I know I shouldn't be telling you this, but she said, usually people with medical conditions are an exception to that. Now, I don't think I read any of that on that form. I probably should have read it more carefully, but I don't want to give anybody the wrong information. They will have you sign this form that says that you're not going to request a refund. And so once you sign that form, it's pretty tough to kind of, it's going to be hard, I think, to prove otherwise in a way. But that is what she did tell me. I signed the form anyways. And then, of course, so it was a non-arbitration, and then the no refunds policy. And then also aftercare, that you're going to do the proper aftercare. And she goes through it with me. And then I have to sign off, like, I'm going to take care of this, not stray from the guidelines. So during that time, they get the approval from the medical department, and they tell them, yeah, the letter's fine, she's good to go. The funny part too was that I had gotten there, I had gotten there, but because it was my first appointment, I had all this stuff to do. And another lady came in after me for her appointment, and they took her in. And I was just sitting there like, oh, that sucks, like now I'm going to have to wait even more. But it was so quick. The procedure that they did was so quick that she was in and out during that time, that 10 to 15 minutes that we were sitting there doing all this paperwork. So, I sat there thinking, oh my gosh, am I going to have to keep waiting? Because I had already been waiting, I think, over 20 minutes, maybe close to a half hour, because of the medical letter and all of that, and all the other paperwork. So when I saw them take someone else in, I was like, oh, why are they doing that? Like, I was next. And I mean, she was out in no time. So yeah, so the procedure is done by a nurse. So the girl that met me in the front, that I was doing all the paperwork, she's just an administrative person. She does sort of like the consultations and stuff like that. But the procedure is actually done by a nurse, at least here at Removery. I don't know how it is anywhere else. I did do one consultation, like an online consultation at another laser place, and it was just so sketchy because they do a lot of different types of lasering, not just for tattoo removal. So I really didn't have anything to compare it to, but this place was so highly rated, and it's, like I said, it's known for tattoo removal that, I kind of just trusted the process. And the fact that they told me a nurse would be performing the procedure, that was sort of what made me feel good about it. It wasn't just going to be anybody, doing the procedure. It was going to be an actual nurse. So I know that if anything were to happen to me, she's a nurse. She's she's trained to handle, medical emergencies. So I was like, I'm in good hands. And she had excellent reviews as well. So you go in. So it was crazy because I was sitting there, and the nurse was like looking at me, and I was like, oh, are you ready for me? And she was just like, yeah, let's go. It was so wild, like how fast they do these procedures. So the nurse takes me back. It's basically kind of like a, one of those black, kind of reminds me of like a dentist chair almost, but it doesn't have the armrests. And, she tells me, okay, show me the tattoo, because mine is on the lower half of my body. So I had to kind of like roll down my underwear. And so she's like, okay. And she goes, we're going to ice it first. So that's all they do. They don't put numbing cream. They don't put any kind of topical stuff on it. She said, what I'm going to do is put an ice pack on it. And then during the procedure, we're going to blow cold air on it. So she puts the ice pack, and while the ice pack is sitting there, she starts going over again the aftercare stuff. So they repeat it to you a few times. And, she tells me no hot showers for a few days. She said lukewarm water only. No submerging for a week. So no baths, no going into swimming pools or oceans or anything like that. You can't submerge it for at least a week. And no topicals for 3 days. So no lotions, no creams, no nothing. I think they did tell me that you could put sunscreen on it, like a mineral sunscreen on it, if you're going to expose it to sun. But you really shouldn't. That's another thing. You're not supposed to expose it to the sun. If you do, if you have to for whatever reason, you can put sunscreen, but it's recommended to just keep it covered. No topicals for 3 days. After the 3 days, which would be, I think it was 2 to 3 days, because I think she told me by Monday I could start putting Vaseline. Vaseline is the one thing that they recommend, and that was it. So they gave me, like, she said, we're going to give you an aftercare kit, which is just the card repeating all the same things, and then like a couple of packets of Vaseline. So I was like, that seems pretty easy. You can take a shower, by the way. You can take a shower right after the procedure. I took a shower the morning of because I wasn't sure. I was like, what if I have to go a few days without a shower or without getting it wet? So I took a shower that morning, but she said you can take a shower right after. It just can't be hot water. It has to be lukewarm. And I am a hot water shower person. So I was like, no, I'll probably just tough it out for a few days and use like body wipes or something for, the 2 to 3 days. That way I don't, because I didn't know. I also didn't know like how I was going to be feeling afterwards, because I thought to myself, if I'm in pain, then obviously I'm not going to want anything touching it at all. So she goes over all the aftercare, and then she says, okay, what we're going to do first is we're going to do a test spot. So she's just going to zap me once so that I can get a feel for what it's going to feel like. She said, and then we'll start. So she takes off the ice pack, starts blowing the cold air, zaps me once, and then she goes, are you okay? It really feels like, they say that it feels like a rubber band, I guess, like a rubber band snap. So maybe something comparable to that, but I feel like a rubber band snap actually feels worse. So like depending on the, how hard you're snapping it. But yeah, I was just like, oh, that was fine. So she goes, okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And then she does like a countdown. And I really appreciated the countdown, because she would have just gone for it. And she told me, she said, I'm not going to start without letting you know. And I know there's some people that probably like that, like just do it, just don't tell me, just start. But she said, I'm not gonna start without letting you know. So she goes, okay, 3, 2, 1, and then she starts. It went so fast because my tattoo is probably about 2 square inches, maybe a little bit more than that. And she starts just zapping, 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 and keep in mind there's cold air blowing at the same time. And she goes, okay, we have the top half done. Okay, we're getting to the bottom and we're done. I mean, I think it took maybe a minute, if that. So yeah, she was like, okay, we're done. And I was like, whoa, that was quick. And so, it was very fast. Obviously, if you have a huge back tattoo or a huge sleeve, it's going to take longer. They really don't take that long. It's not like a procedure that's probably going to take 45 minutes long. I think even if you have, a big tattoo, it would probably just take minutes, like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes. If you have multiple tattoos, that's when it's going to take longer. But it's almost like, I wasn't watching. I didn't want to watch. They do give you goggles to put over your eyes. I guess maybe in case you want to watch, so the laser, doesn't hurt your eyes or whatever. But from the way that it felt, I think they're just kind of like drawing on it with the laser. So they're probably just like tracing your tattoo with the laser. So if you have, a massive, blackout tattoo, then, they're going to be coloring in, you know what I mean? Mine is very small. So she was probably just like outlining, almost like just drawing it with the laser. So that's probably why it took like 1 minute. So that was that. It was quick. I made sure to wear, because of the location of my tattoo, I made sure to wear high-waisted clothing that would go over the tattoo. So The tattoo is like in an area that my waistline on pants and stuff would hit if I'm wearing like regular or low waist pants. So I made sure to wear high waisted underwear, high waisted pants, so that it goes over the tattoo. They don't put gauze. They're not recommending to put gauze. They say you need to let it breathe. Don't put anything that's gonna like suffocate it. Just don't put anything on it. Because I asked her, I said, do I put anything on top of it? Do I put a bandage? She's like, no, just leave it alone for the 3 days, and then you can put Vaseline on it. If it's dry or itchy or whatever. You can even put hydrocortisone cream if it's itching too much. But for the most part, just, let it be, follow the aftercare instructions, and you don't put gauze or anything on it. So I thought that was weird. So I just made sure to wear the high waisted stuff so it would go over the tattoo and that nothing would actually, like no waistband would actually hit it and rub up on it. And I think that was actually a pretty good idea because, I think friction is the one thing that probably does bother it. So, how did I feel after the procedure? I went to Target, so I felt pretty okay. It was a little, I really didn't feel much. It would sting, like it would start stinging every now and then it would go away. Almost like it would flare up a little bit, then it would go away. It would flare up a little bit, then it would go away. But I didn't really feel all that bad. Granted, I wasn't running, I wasn't moving around too much. I did feel a bit tired later that evening, like around 5. I was really tired, like, oh, I need to take a nap. Can I say that was 100% because of the tattoo procedure? Not really. If I'm not on my oxygen, which I wasn't on my oxygen the whole day, um, I do tend to get more tired or feel, more down. So I can't 100% say that it was from that. I will find out. I will know after maybe the second session or the third session, which is not, for another 8 weeks. If it happens again, then I'll know that the procedure, may be causing some kind of like immune system, just making me tired, some kind of reaction. Today I haven't been as tired. I am tired because I'm not on my oxygen, but I didn't feel as I actually felt pretty okay this morning, given the fact that I wasn't on my oxygen all day yesterday. The one thing that I also want to mention, because like I said, I'm not feeling a great deal of discomfort even today. Like it burned a little bit today, like very, very light. It's itching like a small amount right now. I mean, I'm only on day 2. But the one thing that I do want to say, and I've heard this, because I've been looking, like on Reddit groups for tattoo removal, that they use different levels on the laser. So it's possible that they used a very, very low level, and that may be why it didn't bother me that much. And they probably did that. A lot of times they say that they use a low level so that they can do more treatments and milk you for more money. In my case, I would rather that they use a low level and that it takes longer because I don't know how my body's going to react. But that could be why I'm not experiencing a ton of discomfort. It could have been just very low level, but that's also going to slow down the procedure. So it takes, speaking of that, of how long it takes, it's about 10 to 12 sessions, spaced out 6 to 8 weeks, and even longer as you go. So it's going to take like 2 years for this process to be done. It doesn't matter on the size of the tattoo. It's actually matters more your immune system and how well it's functioning and your general health. For me, the procedure, I think it cost me about $11.69. They had originally quoted me about $12.99, not $12.99, $1,299 for unlimited sessions. So that means 10 to 12 sessions. If I need more than 12 sessions, it could go up to 15, 16. That price will cover all of the sessions. So I decided to just go with that because again, if they are using a lower level, it may take longer. If my immune system is as bad as what I think, then it will take longer because your immune system is actually what removes the ink. So I thought, what, it's not a bad deal. It's actually, a pretty good price. They gave me 10% off. That's why the price came out to $11.69 instead of $12.99. And again, unlimited sessions, you know, and so I don't have to worry about like, you know, if I need more sessions, you know, I have to pay for more and that kind of thing. I just pay one price. It's the most economical package. And I was like, you know what, let's just do it that way. And again, she reassured me that I would get my money back, for example, if I did the one procedure and then I just didn't respond well to it. She reassured me that I would get the rest of my, I guess I would get the difference back. But I'm not anticipating that it's going to be too bad. I just, you know, I hope that I just can tolerate the sessions as I go. But that's pretty much it. She did tell me red may not come off completely. I do have black and red on my tattoo. Red, I think, is one of the hardest colors to remove. And if you saw my other video, red is also one of the colors known to contain mercury, which also concerned me a lot. So there's that. So those are things to consider as well. And she did tell me, like at the beginning, she goes, you know, we will be able to fade it quite a bit. She said, but I will let you know that red sometimes does not fully come off. So mine was already fading. Pieces were already, you know, spots were already completely, you know, faded. So I'm hoping that the fact that it's such an old tattoo and it's already faded, that, you know, I'll have a pretty decent outcome. On top of the fact that your immune system is constantly trying to remove it. So I think just as time goes on, because the sessions are 6 to 8 weeks. And, you know, right now it looks like a small amount faded after the procedure. But during those 6 to 8 weeks, it's when your immune system is, I guess, taking it out. So there are other things that I'm going to try as well during this time. I'm going to try to do some lymphatic drainage. I'm taking glutathione, you know, just for detox. I'm taking all of my supplements that I've been taking. But you know, lymphatic drainage is something that I think I might, you know, incorporate, because they do say, or actually I've seen pictures of tattoo ink that they find in the lymph nodes. So I may have to incorporate that into my, you know, wellness routine. And so I'll let you guys know how that goes. I have had lymphatic drainage done before, but it's been a really long time. But I think it might be time for me to try it again. And I'll do a video on that once I get that done. So this is basically it. You know, this is, you know, what you can expect. I will keep you guys updated. I'll probably do some shorts and post some shorts, you know, giving you guys updates if anything happens to my skin, what I'm seeing, my progress. And anything that I feel physically, you know, body wise, because there is not a lot of information. Number one, there's no information on tattoos and how they affect your health. Number two, there's very little information on tattoo removal and people with chronic conditions. I am in the Reddit group for tattoo removal, and I've come across a few people in there that have like lupus or rheumatoid arthritis, and they said that they were totally fine during tattoo removal. And then there are other people that were perfectly healthy that did tattoo removal and they became sick from it. So that's, you know, I was kind of scared, but at the same time I was like, I'm already sick. It's, you know, really, it's not that I'm trying to risk my health. It's like, I'm trying to see if this is, you know, something that could improve my health. If it doesn't improve my health, it's not like my health was great to begin with. So that's why I want to make these videos, because there might be somebody out there that's got a chronic condition and wants to remove their tattoo, and there's not a lot of people talking about it, you know. And unfortunately, you know, there's really not many things that we can reference, those of us who are sick, when it comes to tattoos. It's such a very specific thing, you know, having tattoos and being chronically ill at the same time. And tattoo removal, you know, so it's just such a very specific thing that there's just no information out there about this. So yeah, this is the video in a nutshell. I mean, it's a long video, but I think it's got plenty of information. I will keep you guys updated. I will let you know, you know, what goes on. If you have any questions, leave it down below. And if there's any other videos related to this that you would like me to make, anything you'd like me to address,